Relationships can often feel like solving a complex puzzle, especially when it comes to understanding the ways in which attraction is expressed and understood. Attraction is a natural, powerful force, but how it manifests can vary greatly between men and women. One of the most intricate aspects of this dynamic is how women often communicate their interest. Unlike men, who may be more direct and overt in expressing their attraction, many women rely on subtle, non-verbal cues and body language to communicate their feelings. These subtle signals aren't about a lack of interest or uncertainty. Instead, they are often rooted in centuries of societal and cultural conditioning that have encouraged women to be more reserved in expressing their romantic or sexual interest. Even though women feel desire and attraction just as intensely as men, the way they express these feelings tends to be more discreet, delicate, and nuanced. Why is this the case? How do these behaviors develop? And how can you learn to recognize them to build stronger, more meaningful relationships? Understanding the reasons behind these subtle signals is the key to interpreting them accurately. Women may express interest in different ways for many reasons, emotional, societal, or even personal, and learning to recognize these signals will give you deeper insights into how attraction works. But before we dive into these specific signs and the ways women express their interest, we need to look back at history. These behaviors didn't just appear overnight. They've been shaped by centuries of cultural expectations, historical influences, and emotional factors that still play a role today. Pause for reflection. Have you ever been in a situation where you couldn't quite tell if someone was interested in you? Maybe you've been talking to someone for a while and you start wondering, is she interested or is she just being friendly? It's possible you've missed subtle signs without even realizing it. Today, we'll break down these signs, explore the reasons behind them, and most importantly, help you understand how to interpret them so that you can develop stronger and more meaningful relationships. Your support is very important for us, so subscribe and be a part of this journey with us. Number 1. Historical and emotional context. To truly grasp the subtlety of how women express attraction, we need to step back and examine the historical and cultural influences that have shaped this behavior over centuries. Throughout history, the roles of men and women have been vastly different, and these differences have had a profound impact on how both genders approach relationships and express romantic interest. Historically, women were often encouraged to be modest and reserved, especially when it came to matters of attraction and sexuality. During periods like the Victorian era, for example, women were expected to avoid overt displays of affection or desire. These expectations were deeply tied to societal values about virtue, modesty, and a woman's reputation. Expressing interest in a man too openly could lead to severe consequences, including being judged harshly by society or even damaging one's reputation irreparably. For many women of that time, modesty was not just encouraged. It was required with any boldness in romantic pursuits, often considered inappropriate or scandalous behavior. Here, expand on the idea of reputation and how it shaped women's behavior across different cultures and time periods. For example, in many parts of the world, similar expectations existed. Whether in Europe, Asia, or the Middle East, women were taught to carefully navigate relationships, expressing just enough interest to be seen as desirable, but not so much that they risked societal judgment. Even though society has progressed in many ways, these historical expectations haven't entirely disappeared. Remnants of these societal norms still exist today, especially in more conservative cultures. Women might feel that expressing romantic or sexual interest too directly could lead to them being misjudged or labeled, so they often rely on more subtle, non-verbal methods to communicate attraction. These behaviors have become ingrained in the fabric of modern dating culture, shaping how women approach relationships. Provide comparisons across different cultures and time periods, discussing how certain cultures are more open about romantic expression, while others remain more conservative. This can help the audience understand the global and historical influences on modern-day attraction. In addition to historical factors, emotional dynamics play a crucial role in how women express attraction. For many women, an emotional connection is a key component of romantic interest. While physical attraction is important, it's often not the main priority in the early stages of a relationship. Instead, many women prefer to establish a solid foundation of trust and emotional intimacy before expressing their feelings openly. This is why they often choose to express interest through subtler, more nuanced gestures. By building emotional rapport first, women create a safe space in which they feel more comfortable revealing their attraction. Give examples of emotional dynamics to illustrate the point. For instance, you could say, imagine a woman who's interested in someone. While she might feel an initial attraction, she may hesitate to express it physically until she feels emotionally connected. This doesn't mean she isn't interested. Rather, she's looking for something deeper than just physical attraction. It's about forming a connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction and reaches into the emotional core of a potential relationship. Number 2. Subtle signs of attraction. So, what are these subtle signs of attraction? Let's break it down, starting with one of the most common: touch. Physical touch is one of the most powerful indicators that a woman is interested in you, but it's not always obvious. These touches aren't accidental or random. They are often deliberate, small gestures designed to test the waters and gauge your reaction. For example, during a conversation, a woman might lightly touch your arm or shoulder when she's laughing at your joke or making a point. These are purposeful moves, intended to establish a sense of closeness without crossing any boundaries. But how can you differentiate between a friendly touch and one that signals romantic interest? The key lies in context and frequency. If she consistently finds excuses to touch you, brushing against you as she walks by, playfully nudging you, or placing her hand on your back, it's a sign she's comfortable with you and likely attracted. Dive deeper into specific scenarios, narrating how touch can escalate over time. For instance, imagine you're sitting next to each other at a cafe. At first, she might lightly tap your arm as she makes a point. Later in the conversation, she rests her hand on your shoulder while leaning in to talk. These gradual touches are often clear signals of growing interest, even if they seem innocent at first. Body language is another major indicator of attraction. Women often communicate their interest through the way they position themselves around you. A woman who's attracted to you might lean in closer when you're talking, turn her body toward you, or mirror your movements. Pay close attention to her posture. If her arms are relaxed and open and she's facing you directly, it's a sign that she feels comfortable and connected. Eye contact is another powerful tool women use to communicate attraction. If she holds your gaze for longer than usual or makes frequent eye contact, she's likely trying to establish a connection. This becomes even more apparent when it's paired with a smile or laughter. The combination of eye contact and smiling is one of the most obvious signs of interest. She's engaging with you both emotionally and physically, signaling that she enjoys your company. Expand further on different types of eye contact, such as fleeting glances versus prolonged stares, and how each conveys a different level of attraction. For example, if she's giving you frequent but brief glances, it could be a sign that she's interested but still feeling a bit shy or unsure. On the other hand, if she holds eye contact for a prolonged period while smiling, It's a clear sign she's comfortable and fully engaged in the interaction. Number 3. Changes in voice and personal space. In addition to touch and body language, changes in a woman's voice can also be a strong indicator of attraction. When a woman is interested in someone, her voice may soften, becoming more intimate or gentle during conversations. This change in voice is often subconscious, but it signals that she's comfortable with you and wants to create a more personal atmosphere. You might also notice her voice becoming more playful or teasing as the conversation progresses, which is another clear sign of attraction. Elaborate with examples. For instance, she might laugh more softly at your jokes, even if they aren't particularly funny, or lower her voice when talking about something personal. This vocal shift indicates that she's letting down her guard and drawing you closer emotionally. You may also notice that her voice becomes more animated when she's excited to share something with you, further indicating her interest in deepening the connection. Another major sign of attraction is when a woman invites you into her personal space. Personal space is sacred, and when a woman allows you to enter hers, it's a strong indicator of trust and interest. This doesn't necessarily mean that physical intimacy is on the table right away. It's more about her feeling comfortable enough to spend time with you in a more private or personal setting. Number 4. While some women naturally enjoy dressing up, if you notice that she's paying particular attention to how she looks when she's with you, it's often a subtle way of signaling that she wants to catch your eye. This effort might manifest in various ways. She could choose an outfit that flatters her figure, apply more makeup than usual, or style her hair in a way that she knows looks good. These small changes may seem simple, but they're often deliberate choices aimed at making a positive impression. By putting extra thought into her appearance, she's showing you that she values your attention. Expand by giving specific examples. She might choose a dress that highlights her best features or apply a favorite perfume that she knows smells great. Even subtle changes like wearing a new accessory or putting extra effort into her hairstyle can be her way of signaling that she's thinking about how you'll perceive her. This attention to detail isn't just about vanity, it's a reflection of her desire to feel attractive in your presence. Number 5. How to respond. Now that you're aware of these signs of attraction, the next important step is knowing how to respond. The key here is to be mindful and attentive without being too pushy. The best way to respond is by mirroring her behavior in subtle ways. If she's leaning in or touching your arm, you can gently reciprocate by leaning closer or placing your hand on hers. These small, reflective actions create a sense of harmony and show that you're on the same page. It's also important to engage emotionally. If she opens up to you about her feelings, thoughts, or personal experiences, make sure you're actively listening. Nodding, maintaining eye contact, and responding thoughtfully show that you value what she has to say. Sharing your own experiences and being vulnerable is another key to building emotional intimacy. Don't be afraid to open up. It's this level of emotional connection that often lays the groundwork for a stronger, lasting relationship. Offer specific advice on how to respond to different types of signals. For example, if she's engaging you with light touches, you can return the gesture in a respectful and gentle manner. If she's sharing personal stories, reciprocate by sharing something about yourself that builds trust and emotional rapport. Number 6. Avoiding miscommunication. Miscommunication is one of the most common challenges in relationships, especially in the early stages. Because attraction is often expressed through subtle signals, it's easy to misinterpret these cues or second-guess yourself. If you're ever unsure about her level of interest, the best course of action is to ask for clarity in a respectful and non-confrontational way. Simply expressing your feelings and asking for her thoughts can help eliminate any confusion and strengthen the connection. You might say something like, "I really enjoy spending time with you, and I'd love to know how you feel about where things are going." This opens the door for honest communication without putting too much pressure on the situation. By initiating this conversation, you're showing her that you respect her feelings and are interested in building a relationship based on mutual understanding. Provide additional examples on how to ask these questions naturally without creating awkwardness or tension. Approaching the conversation with confidence and respect is key. Remember, it's always better to clarify than to make assumptions about someone's feelings. Conclusion. In conclusion, attraction is a multifaceted experience that goes far beyond words or direct gestures. Women often express their interest through subtle cues like physical touch, body language, changes in voice, and the effort they put into their appearance. Learning to recognize these signals can help you develop deeper, more meaningful connections with the women in your life. Attraction is not just about physical appearance or romantic gestures, it's about emotional connection, trust, and mutual understanding. By being attentive, respectful, and emotionally available, you'll be much better equipped to navigate the complexities of attraction. And remember, relationships thrive on open communication, trust, and the ability to read and respond to each other's signals with care and empathy. Thank you for joining me today in exploring these subtle yet powerful signs of attraction. I hope this discussion has provided you with valuable insights into how attraction works and how you can build stronger connections with the people in your life. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your thoughts below. I'd love to hear about your own experiences. What subtle signs have you noticed in your relationships? Let's continue this conversation and learn from one another. Until next time, take care and keep building those meaningful connections.